and it won't be some sort of delayed sound. Okay. All right, welcome back, ma'am. Good evening. I'm hoping that saying hi, Ella. Hi, welcome. Let me know. And I'm hoping that it's better, this is louder, and it is clearer. Right? Just give me feedback of your highly esteemed audience. All right. Hey, MC, my sister, you don't really want to know, but it's okay. It's okay. I take the compliments. Welcome. So you guys, can you hear me? Let me know. What does let me do? Okay, so welcome, Adenika. Does that mean that my mouth is slower than the words you are hearing? I don't even know what I don't know what I just said makes sense. But is that what you mean when you say late? But can you hear me? Can you hear? As in, there's a flow in my speech. It's not as if coming. It's not coming slowly. Like it's flowing. Like you can hear, and there's a flow. You can hear. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead. As long as you can hear and there's a flow, that's fine. Like that's like the major and the most important thing. All right. So welcome everyone. Good evening. I don't want to. Because we had to restart, we've spent like 5 minutes or so of our time. So the speech is coming in late. Okay. But you're shy hearing. I don't want to. Hi, Miss Dami, because I don't want to this again, because I'm not even sure what is going on. Okay, there is no flow. It keeps breaking. Spirit of God, Holy Spirit, this is where we need you. Because my human... okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to change my device. Yeah, I think I'm not going to change my device because no more echo. Okay, so should I go ahead? If you tell me to go ahead, Team Talk Lagos, welcome. It seems better now, not breaking anymore. Yes! Holy Ghost, you must do something. Okay, I believe you. You can hear me. Okay, Mr. Not just said you can hear me. Thank you. Team Dan said no more echoing. Thank you. But the speech is still late. So, should we manage it? Let's try and manage, because the last option that I have is just to totally just change my device, and I don't want to start again because the devil is a liar, because he knows that today is going to be amazing, tonight is going to be amazing. So all these things that he's trying to do, it's too late. All right, everybody, good evening again. Welcome to another episode of Ife Talks. I'm super excited and elated to welcome you all to today's show, and I'm really happy because this should have happened last month. We were supposed to be like a Valentine's special edition. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about marriage. Let's talk about, all these things that used to make our go bing bing. But alas, as God will have it. Let me say, as God will have it, we can manage it. Manage is not a good word though, but it's okay. Maybe when my guests come up, and then we see how it flows, and we'll be able to conclude and know what to do next, because my last option, like I said, is just to change device. I already have device, so just tell me that this is not working, we change it straight. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, we saw the last month, but I was like that. I used to go to be doing love in March, but alas, marriage is a lifetime thing. Love happens every time, anytime, every month. It's not only during Valentine's. So and I'm so excited and grateful to our guests, because I know what it means to go back and forth and try to reschedule dates, and I understand the schedule of our guests. Trust me, if you see my DM, hey God, I want to especially thank Secretplace husband, because it was the first person I DM'd. I said, let's start from the head of the home, right? And if the head of the home says yes, then the neck is just gonna have to align with where the head is going. So thank you so much, Sanma, for doing this. So we'll take a quick prayer, and then we will just start. I'll take the profile. accept their wait for their request, and then we shoot. All right, Father Lord Jesus, we thank you for today. Thank you for today's show. Thank you for another time. Thank you for bringing us here again. Thank you for what you're set to do today. Thank you, it's going to be amazing. Thank you because your presence is here with us already. Thank you because we're going to learn. We're going to want to learn. We're going to relearn. It's going to be a blessing. It's going to be a time of sharing, transformation. They're going to do great things in our lives, in our homes, in our marriages. Even for the singles, there'll be clarity. After tonight's session, in the name of Jesus, thank you because our guests receive inspiration, not just to speak by the flesh, but by your leading and your spirit in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father, for utterance. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen, amen, and amen. Welcome everyone who's just joining. Imalolua, Rayos, Jaws, I see you. So I'm going to quickly take their profile and I'll just ask that please send me your I'll just say friend request. Please send me your request, then we can start. So Ola and Bisi Shoeton are certified relationship and marriage counselors and coaches, providing guidance and coaching for successful relationships and marriages. They are the creators of Secretplace husband and wife platforms, where they provide counsel and relatable practical experiences for couples and couples to be. Their vision is to bring clarity and understanding to things that puzzle men and women in their relationship with each other. Ola and Bisi are based in Lagos with clients both locally and internationally. They work closely with their clients to create unique interactions and processes that can support their journey and produce the much desired outcome of a healthy, working, successful marriage they desire. They are very passionate about marriage and believe family is the vehicle for restructuring society and the vehicle for raising stable, emotionally and socially intelligent children. They both work with individual clients, lead workshops, webinars, online courses, and are sought after conference speakers. So, no need profile. Me, I've already finished reading the profile. Join me, guys, as I patiently wait. Okay, please, so you can send me your request now. I'll accept it, and then we start. So, you guys, please help me to celebrate this very amazing couple. I'm almost 100% certain, maybe I'll say 90%, that almost everybody here is following Secretplace husband and wife because, hi, Ike, good to see you. Because they share and dish out a lot of stuff, right? I think that I started to follow Secretplace. I'm trying to remember who I started to follow first. I'm trying to even remember, but anywho, the most fun thing is that we are following them. And yes, now I know you'll be following them. I know that you are going to call them. Hi, on birthday. Welcome. Yes! Zoom, 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 zoom. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here. Good evening. How good or bad is this? You guys, let me even tell you, they don't know me, as in they don't even know. It's not like they even know me because we're just upcoming this journey. So for them to even accept to even be here, that and it's the two of them, it's not one person. Please, in case you need to hook up with them, start with the husband. That's free expo. Just go straight to his DM. Talk to him first. Then, because what she said was, since my husband has said yes, then it is fine. I said, wow, see jackpot. Okay, so that's the secret. Got you, mama. No sense. So if you need to give his wife, just go straight to her husband. Once he says yes, you're okay. All right, good evening. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited that you are here. We are all so excited that you are here. Thank you very much for honoring this invitation. That two of you are here. It's just total joy for us. Thank you. And thank you everybody who is just joining. I wish I could call everybody's name, but I can't because we have to start. Okay, so our marriage journey. This is going to be a very interesting session. I'm just going to be asking questions. I've received a lot of questions. In fact, my brain is just doing buzz. Even this evening, someone just buzzed and said, I have a question. I said, I don't know I'm going to ask all these questions, but we will try because people were very intentional. People to send me questions, ask this one. Even singles were sending questions. I said, good. So let's just do everything together. We ask them as much as we can in the time that we have. And I'm sure that to be a blessing. So, but let's start easy. Right? So let me start from the easy. Don't let's go into the quick part first. Let us start to the easy part. So, I'm following you.
Easy.
And then was it during Father's Day? You posted something on your page and you said the first time that your husband spoke to you or something like that, that you told him that no, don't address me as this.
Yes.
So the first question I want to ask you is, how did you meet your husband? How did you guys meet? Like just meeting, like how did the meeting even happen? Let's start from there, the gist.
Okay, so we met at work. We met at work. I was working
Okay.
in the same organization at the time, and on my first day, he had walked in like a superstar, just like bouncing around the place, and people were like, "Hey, hey, this guy." When you're in a place and everybody's greeting this one guy, "Hello."
Okay.
So you can already tell that he's the superstar of the place, but I wasn't feeling. So I just sat down on my own, just watching. He also didn't greet me. I think maybe because he was busy greeting other people, all the people that were
People.
paying attention to him. So he didn't say hello to me. So I just thought, like, you can't say you don't see me sitting down here now, Not like he knew me or anything. He didn't know me. Anyway, long
Yeah.
he came to my room later and was like, "Hey, nice to meet you. You're the new girl. Yeah, what's your name?" I told him my name. My name is Miss Muibi. At the time, my surname was Muibi, so I said Miss Muibi. And he's like, "Okay,
Okay.
yeah." Maybe later he came back and said, maybe he wanted to say something and call me my first name or ask me if he can call me my first name. He said, "Can I call you Bisi?" I'm like, "No, actually, no, you can't. You can only call me what I said you can." Which,
Wow. Oh, why? As in, let me ask why.
no, I don't like farming. I don't like farming at all. I don't like. And this guy was farming.
Wow. Amazing. So how did that make you feel, sir, when she did that? What was that about? What was going through your head like what was happening? Why is she so formal?
Yeah, I just like, okay. I was trying to build friendship, and when I heard that, I was like, okay, all right, no problem. Anything you say, anything you want, at least just getting to know this person. So I thought that, I mean, she would jump at the fact that I'm offering.
Offering what? Jump, jump and be your word.
Okay.
Celebrate your word.
Yes, so celebrity. I see today now. You put on celebrities. Amazing. I just wanted to hear that story again because I saw it on your page and it really made me laugh. And I'm like, oh wow, amazing. Okay, so so let's start to build a little bit of momentum. So at what point did you know that he was going to be your husband or he would be the husband? What made you, let's just make it as simple. At what point do you know, okay, this guy is my husband?
When he proposed, though, he was not clear. I'm just kidding.
Oh wow.
I guess, like I said, I was really like, I wasn't looking to date anyone at the time. I had just,
Okay.
well, I wasn't out, but I was just, let's just say that at the time I was in like a break. I had not dated for like 3 years, and I didn't know that I was going to stop. I was just now out of school and working, and so of course any moment now, but it's not something that I had come out of say, oh yeah, now I'm ready to date a guy. I hadn't just made it official. So when he came along and started talking stuffs, things, I was just like, I don't know, especially because he did not look like my spec, you know. I, he didn't look like my spec at all. He was just like cool guy, just jewelry. He had necklace, chain. He still has it. He has like a chain around his neck. I mean, I'm totally cool now with that. Not that I wasn't even.
Yeah, obviously.
I was a bit more, judgmental about. Oh, you are still a boy. Like, enjoy your life. Let me enjoy my own. That kind of thing. So I wasn't really into that, but he was persistent, but his persistence didn't get to me because I expected, like, what would you do if you want somebody? You keep going, and I'll keep saying no. And that was what I was doing until he finally okay, you know what? I think I'm done. I'm tired. I'm this. So he just came to my house one day and gave me this long speech about how I've been like playing with him, and I always say that I want God's will, and then we want Christian guys, and then we see Christian guys, and then
Mm.
we playing hard to get. That I either have to give him an answer now or now. Ah, calm down,
Wow,
sir.
wow.
I can answer now, like because I've given you an answer already. I don't want to date you
Mm.
because I don't
Mm.
kind of like see you where I'm going, you know. And so I think it was when he left that day, I finally now thought, wait a minute, like I know that I don't like this person. But then the child of God in me thought, but you are not actually asking God.
Mm.
Do you get like you're not asking, maybe you are a child of God.
Mm.
You're not even asking
Mm.
God. So I said, but I don't know, Shao, but So I remember that day very clearly. I got on my knees in my living room and I just prayed and said, God, as far as it goes, this is where I stand. This is, what I want, you know. But I don't
Mm.
know. I don't know. I'm going to like actively kind of like seek your face about this now from this moment on, and the story is now like what in the past. So here we are. So I think that it was
Yeah.
that praying and just that intentional seeking of God's face that
Mm.
eventually gave me like the go ahead
Mm.
to, you like many
Mm.
different okay, you can go ahead.
Amazing.
Since he has always known, I knew later,
Amazing.
So
Great. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to you because there's a question on this spec thing, but I'm going to come back to you on that. But let me just spend it. So I'm going to talk to your husband now. So this question is primarily for singles, right? And then when they say, how do I know that this person is for me? Like, how do I know? Do you think that knowing that a person is for you is only hinged on being a child of God? Like, because there's always a lot of content. The question is that how will I even know if this guy is one I'm supposed to settle down with? How do I know this woman is one I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with? Right? And that's one question. So it's a two-in-one question. Then the second one is, do you think that for people that are not Christians now, right? So is it because most of the time we say just talk to God about it? I mean, believers would understand when you say talk to God about it. So people that would they say they'll say so I said that if you don't talk to God, there's no way you can say that. But people are not Jesus people, are they not married? So is it primarily hinged on God? So the question is, how do you know that this person is the one that is your husband or your wife? So let's hear you, sir.
Okay. I mean, that's an easy and not so easy question because we are addressing two sets of people, right?
Yeah.
Yes, those who would allow God lead them, and
Mm-hmm.
those who would allow their own judgment to lead them, right?
Yeah.
However, in whichever case, I mean, those who are if you're a child of God, you're being led by the Spirit of God, definitely. So your judgment is from God. Your assessment, everything that you do is from God, definitely. All right. Now, when it comes to the choice of a life partner, if you have been dealing with God already, I mean, it will not be a strange thing when it comes to the choice of a life partner. And doesn't even have to do with life partner only, even friendship, all right? God may tell you, I think you need to reduce communication with someone. I think you need to, if you are spirit controlled, then, I mean, that's fine. So when
Yeah.
it comes to the decision of who to marry or who to spend the rest of your life with, or who's going to be there
Yeah.
for you for a very long time, because there are two sets of friendship. There are seasonal friendship and there are friendship that are evergreen. All right. Now there are some people that they will
Mm.
come into your life. That's their mission, to come for a season and they will go after the
Yeah.
season is done. It's just for you to be a person of understanding, for you to be able to recognize that okay, yeah, I think this season there's a shift in this season. All right. But when it comes to
Mm.
the evergreen, it's God that can point to and say, okay, yeah, this one is going to be an evergreen. This is my purpose, my work for you, for your life, your journey. So it depends on your relationship with God so far. All right. So because it's not so very easy for you to develop all these instruments when it's just about time for you to make a decision about who to marry. If you have not tuned yourself to be able to discern, listen to God, to follow God, to
Yeah.
follow instruction. It
Mm-hmm.
might be a difficult one because how would you even trust that it's God that is speaking to you if you you've not had that experience and that interaction over time. Okay, so
Mm.
there is that part, and there is because one thing is this, there's this mind that we also have that can conceive things, all right. And I'm just talking in the natural form now. There's this mind that we have that can conceive things.
Yeah.
We call it transcendence. You can still see things, you can still perceive things, you can still walk in certain line and in certain truth, even though your spirit is not regenerated. Okay, so and what are
Mm.
those things? How can you tell? It's also not very easy because some of the things you like, where you some things you think you like right now, those things are not purely your own decision. You don't know how the media
Yeah.
influence you like something. Do you understand? And you have to try it for
Very
a while,
true.
then you figure out that I don't think this thing is
Yeah.
really me. Do you get?
Yeah.
So if you have
Yeah.
discovered yourself, you are not,
Mm-hmm.
your self-awareness is not really, I mean, at a particular level, you might make a wrong decision
Mm.
who to marry, because some things you want to prioritize or things you think are very important along the line, over time, with age, time, exposure, you may realize that those things
Mm.
are not really the in thing. And
Yeah.
you could have based a lifetime decision on something that is quite frivolous. So
Very true.
yeah, so that's why I said it's very easy, but it's not so easy. And that's why that,
Yeah.
I mean, for even as a child of God, when you are making such decisions, you don't go in, there's safety in the multitude of counsel. You don't go all alone.
Mm.
You don't go all alone. You have people you are reasoning with, people, trusted people, professionals. I mean, people who you can submit to be good, positive influence in your life, to help you to help you see through the journey. And it's not something that
Mm.
should be taken independently. The choice of who to marry should not be a choice that should just be taken independently. You may want to look at it like and say, oh yeah, this is our generation. We can go ahead, do whatever we like, wherever I bring home. But it makes sense that you act safely and wisely. It makes sense that you act safely and wisely. So it's not to turn down. I mean your spec, or what do you call that thing? Uh, it's not. It's not just, but along the line, so that you don't miss in the real deal. It's
Mm.
better that you
Mm.
have you have God, you have people that you're running things with.
Mm. Awesome. I like that when you said about it's not a decision that you can make alone, but I don't want anybody to mistake it, because I understand, right? And then, do you mean that, for example, like when you wanted to when you had made the decision, or when you knew that she was going to be your wife, right? Maybe you
Yes.
spoke to somebody. Now you're speaking to someone. Is there a possibility that some people will say, why just marry that babe? No, that babe might not be. There might be people that would say, no, I don't think she's okay. And there are people that will say, she's okay. Then there's now confusion. How will you now balance the
Okay.
voices in your head?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So first of all, you have your conviction already. Definitely
Conviction.
already,
Great.
as far, and you have your reason for saying, okay, this is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. It's
Mm,
just people that you are,
mm,
all right. It's just people you are accountable.
yeah.
So I mean, I'm making this decision. I'm consciously making this decision. This is, you're just bouncing these things, this whole thing
Yeah.
off
Okay.
this, laying it down on the table.
People that you are accountable
Yes,
to,
about it. It could be your
not
parents.
friends.
Yeah, it could be your parents. It could
No.
be a friend. It's just for you to understand and identify the person. You want to
Yeah.
say something, babe?
Yeah. I think that at the end of the day, the people you will talk to after you have gotten your conviction, should they I
Mm-hmm.
nobody should be able to, don't talk to people that will tell you, oh, this person is good, this person is bad. Because people go to
Right.
their pastor say, oh no, I don't think this is the person for you. That's not the kind of
Exactly.
influence we're talking about.
Exactly.
The kind of influence we're talking about
Exactly.
is the kind, in fact, I would advise that it would be someone who is like a professional, or somebody who will just ask you questions, not necessarily somebody
Okay.
as an opinion alone. Not
Mm.
that people cannot
Okay. That's a balance.
people can have an opinion, but other people's opinion
Yeah.
can confuse you. So what you want to do is
Yeah.
talk to people who will not just have an opinion, but ask you
Yeah.
questions. So what
Questions.
is that if you come and meet me, for instance, say, oh, I found this man that I want to marry, and I feel like he meets my spec. Oh, he's tall, he's rich, he's God-fearing, he has integrity, whatever it is. Then my questions to you would be to sort of, because of my experience, right? I can then paint a picture for you, including those things that you like now and excluding them, and asking you was I can also kind of through like questioning help you, maybe come to a decision that says, oh, you know what, I feel like maybe I'm not clear on this, maybe I'm not, maybe asking you, why do you like this about him, why do you like this about her? So
Yeah.
that kind of third party, people who would ask questions, trying to help you to get
Awesome.
clarity, not
Yeah.
people who would
Clarity.
put their opinions on you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So, now, before you got married, were there things that both of you did, intentional steps that you made, things that you did together in preparation for marriage? I have a second question to that, but I want to ask this one first because I know that there's some singles here that we want to know after you have said yes. What are the things that you did or practicals? I don't know. Now, yes, there's a lot of enlightenment now, but I mean, back then, we don't have as much marriages. It's not so much in our page. You don't see go on pages like someone can even come to your page and they're already counseled. Like, I'm not joking. Like, you can just see someone like, oh my god, I didn't even know this. Like, they've already learned a lot. But back then, I'm sure when you got married, there wasn't this much
social media.
exactly. So, what were the things that you guys did then that you think nothing, right? So you learned on the job.
I would not recommend at all.
Okay, great. So let's move on then. Awesome. Now,
we didn't do anything other than fight, right?
Yeah. Man, seriously.
I do not
Fight
recommend.
and argue, fight, drag.
oh my days. Okay. Now this spec thing. Do you think this spec thing actually works? This thing called this for you, man. Do you think this spec thing? Do you think that it makes sense? Do you think it's okay for like now you have your spec, but God just told you that look, this not we are focused. This is my will for you. Forget about your spec. Do you really think that the stress of putting down your spec? Do you think it's okay to have a spec to put it down?
Yeah, yes, it's okay to have a spec. There can't be nothing wrong with that. However, the problem, like he said with spec, is that when you're even laying down those specs, what do you even know about yourself and about relations? Most times, we're like these speculations or specifications are things that we've picked up from the media, from people in our lives that we respect or we love or we admire, or people like around us. So, you just see a tall man who is married. So I can imagine that maybe in the neighborhood, in your family, there's one of your sisters that married a tall, dark man or a fair man, or somebody who has control, or somebody like who is like, has a presence, or somebody who tells you, who just mentioned to you that, oh, integrity is so important in meanwhile, they don't have integrity themselves. They're just telling you now at that spot.
Yeah.
So, and then it's stuck in your brain like, this feels good, this is good. So some of those things are like that, right? And that's why you find that when you then grow up, some of these things change. Do you see? So I would say at the end of the day, it's really about self-awareness. Whatever your specifications are, always approach it with a hint of subjectivity, meaning that it's possible that they're meaningless. So that now that you are an adult, sit down with your list one by one. Before any man even comes around, before any woman comes around, sit with your list and take them one by one. I like a man who has integrity. Then ask yourself, who had integrity in my life that made me like a man that have integrity? Do you see?
Wow.
And then dial back to say, oh, what was it about this person? I like a tall man. Do I even really like a tall man? Why do I like a tall man? Do you see? Oh, I want a fair man, or I don't like a fair man. Do you see? I don't like a fair man. Don't you really like a fair man? Why? Was there somebody who broke your heart who is fair? Or do you fear
Yeah.
that every fair man has bleached? You know, what if you find somebody who has not bleached? You'll be surprised. It's as simple as maybe you are
Oh
just
my God.
no fair people
Yeah.
bleached and they're attractive to you, their knuckles are dark, and you're like, nah, not for me. But if you are that, maybe it's poverty, maybe it's people around you, they're poor people, they don't have money for good cream.
Yeah.
You understand? And so if look at all of those specifications and values and whatnot, what don't call them. Some people don't call them spec, you can say values, whatever it is. Find the one
Yeah.
truly authentic to you, and make sure that you know, put godliness on top of it, in the sense that
Right.
don't let just, you know, anything that is not supported by the word of God or whatnot. Do you see? Once you are able to say that this is my authentic self, this is what I want, and I know what I want, go for it. Don't be afraid to have a
Awesome.
because anyway, always press reset. When you're on your list and you have found the person on your list, make sure you find that person, right? And if you don't find the person, whoever you agree with, make sure you convince yourself settling. Be sure that you're not settling. When all that is done, marriage, you now press reset, and that's where we begin again. This is so all of that.
My God.
So of course, if you can love the person you have married, by all means, embrace your. I personally embrace your list, chess, because you're actually pick somebody that you like, somebody that you're comfortable with, somebody you love. All that is done, you're going to be required to love the person you have married.
Amazing. Awesome. So my next question, and it's be for both of you, because from the wife and then the husband's view. So what were some of the mistakes, like you look back now in your early years in marriage, I'm like, I can't even believe I did that. Like, how did we do that? What were some of the mistakes that you made as a woman, as a wife, as a man, as a husband, that, I mean, that you would educate people on now and say, man, don't do this kind of thing. Not, maybe you can remember some scenarios, maybe one or two. I mean, just to buttress, but I'm sure that, I mean, there are things that you have that you can't do again. Like, let's not put it that way, but maybe then, you know, and all that. So, but that's this the practical stage for now. Let's hear this one.
Tell us.
Okay, tell us that.
Anyways, I don't know. Probably my younger self then. I mean, I've seen my wife cry, and you know, instead of me to pause and think that, okay, why is she crying? You know, and feel the emotions. Like, okay, is she trying to reach me? Is she trying to say something? I mean, I just saw, but I was so bent on being right that I thought that at the strategy to weaken my defense.
Yeah.
So I started crying as well.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, I can never forget that. That's actually the day I stopped crying, actually. Like, he was so embarrassed.
I was like, okay, because I've heard that women use tears, you know, to get their way made. I was like, oh, really? To, you know, and you know, just like we told you that at the beginning, we're always arguing and fighting. So I mean,
meanwhile, I wasn't crying. No, you was fake. If you say you started crying, people they can begin to you that maybe.
But faking the tears.
Now fake crying like, only you can cry. Oh, you want to cry? Let me show you can cry. That's what I did. So don't be.
Oh my God.
Was like crying. He was not crying. I was crying from an emotional, painful place.
So then I battle changed. Like, I mean, so we moved to we are now using tears as weapon.
And that was the day. And before this, he would like, you know, why are you crying? Why are you so like afraid of the tears or whatnot?
Yeah.
But on this day, I was so embarrassed. I can never forget. And that's the day I told myself that, hey girl, get like what? Is it me that what they wash me? Is it me? I felt so disrespected that I had to pick my bone from off the floor. and actually begin to respect myself. Like that was the day I stopped crying.
Mm-hmm.
I had to now sit up like, okay, no,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can't do the tears. You want us to talk? Okay, let's talk. So I actually like I was mad, but I was calm. Like what is happening here? Like a whole me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was, and another thing was that, I mean, it was a surprise to see her cry because she's always formed this very strong woman, unbreakable, unshakable,
I was unshakable. Is this man that shook me? Like I couldn't. Meanwhile, when I
Such,
Oh my God.
I don't
why am I
cry. I'm
crying?
not gonna
I
cry.
don't even cry on a good day.
Like,
I'm not a crier. He's a cry. You're not vulnerable.
so, so I did. It was difficult for me to believe that tears were genuine. It wasn't my fault. How could,
Yeah.
because I tell people that BC was crying, they won't even believe that BC was crying.
Mm-hmm.
BC that would drag. Uh, Even if BC starts with all these people on the road, or she wants to fight a cause and is with a man, you can't even believe that it's that same BC that will be at home and is crying over one argument we're having.
Can you see why I picked my bum off the floor? Because I'm like,
So,
nah, that's not me.
So I didn't believe that she was crying. So I mean, and that's a very great lesson. Whether later on I realized, from learning, practice, and experience, and so I learned that, I mean, whether it's fake, whether it's genuine, anytime there's a sign of tears or anything, you need to show your human side, your emotional side, and whatever the case may be, just stop for a while. Just stop for a while. So I mean, that was a big lesson for me, and it's something I always share with men. If your woman gets to this point, whether it's real, whether it's not, even if she's trying to manipulate you with her tears, I mean, stop at that point. Okay? Whatever the case may be, I mean, just stop at that point. Not that important. All those dramas, you will not just be doing it for nothing. Do you get that? So whatever the case may be, just stop at that point and like sit down. Just rest at that point in time. And I mean, yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. I like this point too. This point, ah, God, I like this point too, but I don't want to really say a lot. Let me just swallow the fucking. Oh my days! Because the honest reality is that some men are not even moved. I think sometimes I was like, is it that the thing is not even moved, your wife is crying. And when you were dating, it was, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What happened? But is that when you're married, just saying like I'm not gonna see your tear. Please, sir, don't let go. Help me advise the men. Say it again. It's like it's not yet at the back. Help me raise it up. Small.
And the flip side to that is it's also important for women to also know that it's not that the man doesn't want to attend to your cries alone. It's that in marriage,
Great. So
it increases. You cry a lot more in marriage because during courtship, like
yes.
coming,
I mean, yeah.
home, last I will vex and go to my mother's house or my father's house.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
fought in the morning about
So yeah, then
about something else in the night, you're so overwhelmed, you're almost crying every day. At some point, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And you find that men are trying to find a way to get past that also. And they're always saying, talk to me if there's talk to me.
Stop crying.
And I'm like, I'm crying. If I'm not upset about something, I won't be crying. So is that what you want to do is also try and understand that it is the discomfort. He cannot undo that. He's used to reasoning. His guys don't come to him and are crying, saying that. They going on. They open their mouth. They share. They don't expect people to read their minds. They're not trying to get attention with the tears. Do you see? They're actually about it. I had to go to that point too. Even though he was getting more receptive and we were talking to say, okay, you know what, this is not. But there was no way we could have talked to a point where he would understand that, you know what, this is real and we just have to display empathy for each other if I wasn't willing to talk. Do you see what I mean? So I have to also like grow up and actually like get mental toughness. Do you see? So that when down, I can sit to a conversation and actually talk about it. And in that time, I remember if I start to cry, if I then start to cry, maybe because, sometimes some emotions are just what it is. You cannot stop to cry. I'm not trying to cry to conversation, maybe something is upsetting me, but I'm still seeking understanding. You find me saying, you know what,
Yeah.
actually, I'm a bit upset now and I'm crying, but we can continue this conversation actually.
This conversation,
Senses,
right?
I'm not a rational
Right.
person. I'm emotional, but I'm not irrational. Do you see? So I can actually clean my tears and say, you know what, I'm actually listening to you. I want to understand. So he can see that now he was clear. This is not a manipulation
Yeah.
ploy.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure that whether I was being manipulative, and it happens too.
Yeah.
I can't even know where to place it. Now I'm writing by myself. When it is
Amazing. Amazing.
I then use my mouth to say, like, you know what, I'm actually listening to you. I know this is uncomfortable for you, so I'm now, but just know that it's how I feel inside that's making me cry. But I want to understand.
Right.
Let's talk about this. And so
let's talk about this. I like that. I'm gonna need some mental strength
mental
because
man,
Mama need it. Please, you need to do a master class of mental strength because a lot of us need it. All right, so tell us your own. I mean, some of the mistakes that you made in the early years of marriage.
my number one mistake was I did too much. I did too much in the beginning in terms of helping my partner out. And I was always like, yeah, there, yeah, this, yeah, that. Before he would say, like, Jack, I'm there with Jill, whatever. You know, just like putting my own this, putting my own that, like trying to help this way, trying to be sort of just I did too much. And for every time that I just stepped up to say, okay, you know what, I'm helping you in this way, we're one, we're this, I don't want you to make mistakes. You know, why would you make mistakes when I'm here for you? Like I can prevent those mistakes by like pointing them out. You know, he made me feel like he cannot, like, can't I want to do something that is just me, that is just my idea? You understand? You know, and as if I just wanted to be controlling. Do you see what I mean? So at the beginning, I was start controlling, and in a sense, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe you can call it controlling because, well, it's the way my mind works, right? I'm sort of like an overachiever. Like I over prepare. When you're telling me about one plan like this, me, I've gone on to plan B, C, D, E, F, G, Z. And as you are saying that, I'm already rolling out. I'm not even like trying to hear you out, like, you know. So all of those things, and I was doing it as a beloved wife. Do you understand? Trying to like make this marriage perfect, or sort of. And we got to a point where we crashed. We crashed, and he had to come upstairs to me. What? BC, just stop. Don't do anything. Just let everything be. In fact, let's just be roommates. Let's just be housemates as far as it is now, because you are giving me more headache than. And I had to pause to examine what I was doing. I had to grow. I had to learn to listen more. I had to learn to, okay, you know what? Allow people to be on their own journey. Even though we're partners, it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop every mistake. I don't see him like stepping in. If I tell my husband that this is what I want to do, the only question he asks me is, will it make you happy? Are you going to, is it okay? Do you like it? Down to if I'm wearing an outfit and I say, do you like this dress? The answer is, do you love it? Do you feel comfortable in it? So long as you're okay, I'm willing to go on with it. But if he asks me, do you like this outfit? is this shirt, or even if he's not asking me, I'm like, this shirt, what is it? What are you wearing? You know, without even asking me my opinion and all of that. And all of those things can come across as a lack of acceptance. So I had to learn acceptance in a way that if I then like say, oh, this shirt too is somehow, it won't be from a place of just being too forward. And that was really tough because all the things that the way that I was in the early days earned me like a bad record, where my husband was now traumatized by that experience. Such that if I now said, oh, this shirt is not nice, and the shirt is not actually nice, he will wear that shirt because he's trying to shout my voice, you know. So we are, you know, so he was just like, in the beginning, I did too much, I said too much, and you know.
And you are forgiven.
Right.
Thank
you. Amazing. So I'm going to move to conflict. management, right? And how do you, now that, I mean, you can do like a comparison, right? Because there's always, I don't think there's any marriage, no matter how amazing, there must still be some misunderstanding, there must still be some sort of disagreement, but just so that there's progress in the home, conflict, forgiveness, malice, anger, and all that stuff. It's a battle, right? And was it very easy in the beginning to handle your issues? And how did you find a way? How did you get to the place where now? Because I'm asking because there's this common saying that in the first few years of marriage is when everything scatters. You can cross is it year 5 or something, they are good. But I feel like, in the early years there's like sitting phase. That's when a lot of bars goes and everything. And I know that a lot of couples experience a lot of because this person are living together, this first time that reality of life is setting in and all that. So how did you guys scale from then to now? How did you manage? How did you get to the point? How was it then? How bad was it?
Like,
Then how did you get to where you are now?
brain.
I mean, it was quite unfortunate for us then that we had to. I mean, we had to find a way out ourselves. We had to, we started building principle by principle to say, okay, this is.
Please talk, because there's some people that are going through this. That if I'm 100% certain that are going through this phase of this same phase, and in their head they're like, how are we going to get out of this? How do we get to that place where we'll now come and say, you know what, where's progress? So yeah,
there's a point to get to that you guys would have to face the reality that we can't continue living like this. I mean, it's totally unhealthy. I mean, you can hardly be happy from morning till night, because if you're happy this minute, this next second you don't know what your partner would do or say. And sometimes some of these things will touch the base of your soul, the base of it. Sometimes some offenses, I mean, there are some things that have been so dear to you. It could be memories, all right? Something that you value so much. It could be memories. Let's just imagine it could be as minute as probably Fanta, and your partner says, what's about I said, and probably it's something that was so dear to you, maybe while growing up. It's something you used to share as a family, and you feel I mean, touches to the bone. Like I mean, there are so many things like that, and you feel like, oh, this person doesn't understand, this person doesn't care. You're not listening. You're not paying attention. You don't care about me. You don't want to know me. I mean, and you overstate the matter. You exaggerate the whole issue, and it's so difficult because when you want to narrate this thing to a third party who is not a professional, they so Fanta Ludawalale. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It will aggravate the whole matter for you. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. So that's the thing with talking to a third party who is not a professional. They will always think that. So do you mean that it is turn on the light, turn off the lights that is the problem? Just as simple as. So you don't understand the root of the whole thing. They are not able to trace it down like that. So, I mean, it got to a point that we started building principle one after the other on, addressing. One of the major things that we did then was, because I realized that if you have conversations, if you talk about things before they happen, when they happen, it won't be that serious. Do you understand? You'll be able to manage it. So we used to have then family meeting. So we always have a family meeting where we talk about things, all right? So we talk about finances, we talk about behavior, what you did, what I didn't like. We get to see every first Sunday of the month, all right? After church, we just do somewhere, we'll sit and we'll talk about things. Oh, I didn't like this one. When you are when it's not like the person has offended you, all right? When someone has offended you and you're talking, there will be a mix of emotions. I mean, you can say at this point in time, you can easily address matter, talk, in a very calm, cozy environment and talk about things. And you guys can get better and you can build on it. So those are some of the things that we did, to bring calm to the situation back then. So, and we started up certain principles. Even my wife too, she has those principles. Someone has to be the bigger person. While we are doing it, don't walk away. You don't talk. We just started building all these principles to just make so yes, and we both submitted to it. Like, okay, yeah, that's another thing again. We always submit to the truth. So that's another principle. We always submit to the truth. So it's not about what you're saying or what I'm saying. It is the truth that matters. So if it is the truth, whatever it is, I have to submit to it. So submitting to the truth was another very strong principle that we had back then.
Yeah, and I think with the family, what he did for us was, even when there are now issues, the anticipation that there's a place to bring these topics.
Yes.
That meeting already.
You can wait.
Yeah,
you can wait because you know that okay, there's going to be a family meeting. This is one of the things I'll talk about.
So that also helped because that family meeting.
So you keep the issue.
Well, not
keep the issue. If something happens now, okay, I've observed something, and I would like my partner to work on it. Okay, sometimes we urgency in which we always keep everything as if life is going to be over. That's why things get worse. It is that worse. But some things you can actually wait.
Yes, and that urgency is as a result of fear. Like, because, well, if I don't nip it in the bud, what's to say it's not going to continue? You see, but what a meeting like having a family meeting does is that it sort of shows that you guys have made up your mind that you are willing to work on this together. So at the end of the day, personal decision where individuals make up their mind that this is my marriage. So as a man, you have to say, this is it for me. There's no other way. It has to work. As a woman, you have to then make up your mind, say, this marriage has no choice but to work. So that settlement, that acceptance in your mind helps you to just relax. I mean, what else is there to do? Do you see? And so that family meeting created, not that we didn't have moments where we would erupt into a fight. We had those moments. Yeah. But of course, like in the past, we'll either settle it, move on. Even when we were not having family meeting, were we settling fights? We're not settling fights now. It was the stronger person that was winning, the person who could argue the most, the person who could walk away the most, the person who could be at peace, the one who could sleep. So it wasn't really settlement. It was just okay, talk. Okay, sorry. Somebody will say sorry just for peace sake, and that person will move on. So that's what was happening anyway. And so that continued. So if it erupt into anger, that would still happen. Do you see? But that family meeting also allowed us to accept that this is it. And it helped us to calm down. Like you said, there was no urgency anymore. This person is not my enemy, right? And I know that when we get to that family meeting, we're going to listen to each other. We will still argue. It will still go on and on and on and on and on and on. But because it's a meeting where we want to trash things out and make our marriage better, it's not just a let's sit down. It's a meeting. Was it first Sunday or last Sunday?
First
Sunday of the month. This is about our marriage. We are making it work. We are building targeted meeting. Amazing. Our marriage. So we'll sit down and talk about it. So whatever the argument, always. So that's when we came up with the submitting to the truth thing. So of course, what for us, we are Christians, and so what sort of guided that our truth is that if the word of God says, so if I'm telling my husband now that actually I feel like, I did not receive empathy. You did not try to listen to me. Say with the tears things, for instance, now, if he's not paining me my heart, or maybe somebody is not talking, somebody is keeping malice, for instance, now. Yeah. It was no longer just, oh, why are you not talking to me? Why are you not talking to me? We were now looking at, okay, this malice, psychologists say this thing cannot work. The Bible says that we should not do it. Do you understand? So if we're going to be building this marriage, we have to talk. I know that you are in a upset about something, but let's find out how we can maybe bring it up later. Do you see? I'm willing to listen to you, and I know you're willing to listen to me. So we were now both on the same page, even though we were still fighting. Do you understand? So that's what that family did, and the truth, and just really personal decision to submit to God. I think that we did that individually, where I was just tired of fighting. I was tired. And at that point, I'm just like, God, okay, I've tried it my way, And I think it comes to the point where the Holy Spirit begins to tug on your heart. So being vulnerable to God is also so important on this journey. Because if not, there are some things that you stand no chance in. Anger is anger, and what you're upset about
Yeah.
valid is big, no matter what.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, those are
Hmm.
the.
Wow. Amazing. So now I like as our ask question because this question came in from someone, right? And then said, how do you get to a point? They wrote Bakamo. For those who are not Yoruba, I'm sorry. How do you get to a point where you don't? Well, what is Bakamo in English? You
Like
don't. I'm trying to
give up or something. Is it?
give up. Yeah, maybe yeah, give up ahead. So how do you get to a point of not Bakamo, giving up your mind when you feel like you're not being heard or your spouse doesn't understand you? And for the sake of peace, you know what? No problem. Everything you say is really okay. That you want it, we'll do it that way. Oh gosh, that's also fine. You know, just for the sake of peace. But one of whoever is doing that is obviously not happy. And
Yeah.
for the temporary time, it looks like there's peace because there's no fight. Because somebody is not is giving up on me, whatever. Sorry, back win. Please don't take like that. Right? But how do you get to a point that you don't I mean, how do you not get to that point? And if unfortunately someone is in that point, maybe someone here is already there, how do they get out of that point? Because they feel like there's a struggle conversing with this man or this woman. Tried everything, and you're just so let's just do it your way and let there be peace in the home. So how do you not get to that point and how do you get out of that point?
That's conflict avoidance. You know, you talked about conflict resolution at first, and that's what we how to resolve. But that's conflict avoidance, all right? If it feels like a temporary measure, you know, to bring about peace, but it's not a lasting solution. Everybody has to come to that conflict resolution. You have to develop a conflict resolution mechanism that will work for both of you. All right, it is a must. Okay, so if you get to that place of conflict avoidance, things are not yet bad. All right, you just need to step forward to that place of conflict resolution. Now, when you're at that place of conflict avoidance, there is a lot of unforgiveness that's taking place. All right, so a lot of unforgiveness, both sides, from both sides, not just the side. You know, sometimes you can look into yourself because you know your intent. All right, you can justify yourself and say, I did this in the purity of my heart, the sincerity of my conscience. All right. However, your partner is receiving something different, and they also believe that they are responding from. So both of you are kind of, I mean, right or wrong in whatever way you want to say. So, but there is unforgiveness. All right, building up. That's unforgiveness building up. Then resentment will come in. Resentment. You need to resent the person and unsendedness.
I don't send you.
I don't say the unsendedness.
Wow.
You know, like okay, all right, okay, whatever, all right. I'll just play my duty and play my role as the wife was expected of me. All right, okay. So, I mean, things would degenerate from that place. From that place, anything can happen. All right, it's just a taking time bomb. Anything can happen. I mean, from that place. So
how do you bring your partner to a point of if you're feeling that way and every time you try to talk, you're not getting someone that will listen to you? So is it that the English you are speaking or the way you are speaking or what really is the problem? How
do you start? You see, the first thing is that
how do you get your partner to understand where you are? Like this thing. I'm getting there.
That's always the.
You're not listening to me.
Always the problem.
You're always trying to win a battle. You're always trying to be right.
That's the problem that couples face. How do I get my partner? How do I?
Yes, that's
the issue. How do I get my partner? How do I get my partner? How do I get myself?
Myself, right?
What my partner is saying, to hear what my partner is saying. Couples always like, how do I get my partner to
understand me?
It's do this. Let me get you to do this. You are the problem. So all the you are the problem. Let me fix you.
Yeah, attention. Will be amazing.
And this person is also looking at you like, I'm not the problem. You are the problem. So you guys are going away.
Yeah.
So when we say unforgiveness, you're thinking that okay, all right, if I can get my partner to do this, then maybe I will cooperate, then I will let go, then I will forgive. No, it starts with you. You forgive
You.
before you make that step. Because when you go, this person, if you don't have it settled within you and you have not forgiven
Yeah.
the person, they don't know what's going on in your mind. When you come, they say, okay, are you here in battle? They will draw out their sword as usual.
Amazing.
So if you have not forgiven, if not let go, when they draw out their sword,
Yeah.
you will fight. All right? If you have not sheathed the sword and you go and are talking about peace, and they brought and they bring out their sword, like, okay, it's normal. I mean, as usual, let's fight. If you don't go for truth then and say, no, I've shit my sword, I've buried this, and then that's the process. That's the process of conflict resolution. So it begins. It is a very difficult job. It is a very tough job. Sometimes you don't have to do it alone. You can seek professionals to help you.
Yeah,
That
I agree.
but that is, I mean, a very, very sacrificial.
I agree. I think they had one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think that it will lead me to. So can people really do fall out of love in marriage?
I guess if you believe you can, you can.
Because if you allow all these things to grow, resentment, unforgiveness, malice, if you continue in it for a long time, I fear that somebody can really do.
What may happen is that it might muffle the sound of love. Okay, because at the end of the day, when you take off all these rubbles on the surface, you realize that these people are still in love. This person still loves this. All right, but it's just that, there's a lot of dirt, a lot of things covering the surface. So that love may be that buried that they may get divorced, go marry someone else, but they are still in love with their ex. Do you understand? But you'll be like, oh, they're falling out of love, they're falling out of love. Sometimes there may still be love in there. There may still be love. Even people have been separated for years. For years, they still feel love with their partner sometimes. With grown-up children, they still feel love.
Amazing. I like that.
I guess, at the end of the day, it is possible, if we don't work on our relationship. If we don't
work on our relationship,
we don't also sort of like let our relationship work on us. Because I always like to tell people that you cannot approach it as though you're working on your relationship alone. Guess what? Your relationship is working on you, doing a lot for you. Do you see? And if you the process, you see that you'll be better for it. So if, of course, we don't submit to the process, if we don't try to understand the other person, if we're not like sitting down, coming up with strategies, going to counseling, making sure that we want this, and of course actually seeking to love, to give to our partner, then of course you will find that you can fall out of love. And this is why, because the falling in love is already problematic. Do you see? And that's why most marriages are dead on arrival. We just don't know it. Like, we just don't know it. The process of falling in love is a very conditional process. Do you see? And it's more like, oh, I found somebody who fulfills so and so in my life. So I met this guy who made me feel wonderful, who gave me butterflies. So I met this woman who made me feel like, yes, my life has found meaning and purpose, and that vision that I have for myself is finally going to come to pass. I see her in my future, all of those things. So you had something you wanted, and the person was making it happen for you. So, I mean, do you really love them, or you love yourself? Do you see? When we're talking about falling in love and falling out of love, when you are falling out of love, people consider it a very unnatural experience. Like, oh, this must be a terrible thing. Sometimes it's a good thing, because then we can find something real, something genuine, something good. And so that's what I mean when I say marriage will press reset anyway. Do you see? And if you're not careful, that's when you get to that place where you're like, oh, I don't feel anything. Do you see? Because that reset. So you want to make sure that you are asking yourself, okay, you know what was it that I loved about this person in the first place? Can I even say that I love them if it was conditional on what they make me feel? Do I love myself? And loving yourself is not a terrible thing. We advise that you do love yourself. Do you see what I mean? But marriage is beyond just loving yourself. In marriage, you will have to actually love your partner, like genuinely love them. which is simply defined as giving. Give. Love is giving. That's all. That's the definition.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
You see, so you have to genuinely now, when you say I'm falling in love, when you fall and you seem like you're falling out, this is time to get up and begin to walk in love. Sometimes emotions catch up. And what I mean by emotions, I don't mean love. Emotions catch up with love. They act, the giving. Do you see? So the romantic love is important. You will feel it in a marriage. You should feel it in a marriage. Do you see what I mean? But sometimes it's not, it will catch up with you. Some days I'm looking at my husband, even now, and I'm like, how did I get so lucky? Other days I'm like, if you don't get out of my, like, where do you come from? You understand? I'm just like, oh my God, you know, something is certain. I am committed to this person. Do you see? Love this person. Not falling in love. Romantic love is good. We have that. And I encourage you to do that. But sometimes all the other issues in life can drain out romantic love. When that is going on, understand that it is a natural process that is happening. We're not talking about abuse, like somebody is beating you, somebody is like killing you. You and I know that that's not what we're talking about. You guys know. What we're talking about is the everyday life challenges, misunderstanding. We just cannot get along. We are just not hearing each other, which is natural. Like our egos fighting or some, that stuff. When that is happening, don't consider it unnatural. Consider it natural so that you can find the real thing. Do you see? And it will not be a weight. Begin to redefine. If you're single here, begin to redefine these things. Some of the things that you call love or falling in love or this, begin to redefine them and accommodate the definition. Make sure that you accommodate it in your vocabulary. Make sure that beyond just, oh, I want this person to understand me. Accommodate that I can understand. And my understanding of where they're coming from can help me to rephrase or rearrange what to say. Do you see? So if I come to a conversation with my husband now and I say, oh, babe, I don't like what you did the other time. And I genuinely mean that. I don't even want to fight. I'm just expressing myself. I don't really like what you did the other time. And he's like, what do you mean you don't like what I did the other time? What did I do? What did I do? Okay, tell me what I did. Oh, how was I wrong? Oh, so you don't like the truth. Which is how conversations sound like at home. Oh, the truth is false. That's why you don't like what I did. Now, it's easy for me to say, oh my God, like, can't you listen? I know you're not even listening to me. You're not listening to me. Do you see? But it will start, when we say the work starts with you, is that you will have to realize that what's happening to him, which is his ego, saying, what do you mean you don't like what I did? I can be with freedom. I did something. You want to start it. You don't like it. That's his ego. When I then say, what do you even like? Why are you acting like this? What do you mean? You're not even listening to me. That's your ego. It's not humility. It's your ego. The ego does only one job. It defends you. It protects you. It tells you that, you know what, actually, put up your opinion. Fight for yourself. You matter. You have a right. You seek to be understood. That's the work of the ego. And it's a very healthy aspect of you. Do you see? But the problem is when you let it in private for too long, because it's not always right. Sometimes they acting from a place of fear, from a place of, oh my God, they're going to crush me. Do you see? So instead of focusing on his ego, don't be proud now. Don't say that. Try to listen to me. I then, in that moment, focus on mine and say, okay, you know what? I'm getting upset now. Do you see? Because the same thing that's happening to him is what's happening to me. If I focus on me, I have a lot to do already. Do you see? So I then take.
But what have you done wrong? What have you said that is wrong?
You know what I've said that is wrong is that I think I can say to another human being that they're wrong. That's what I've done that is wrong.
So what is the better thing that you should have said?
Ideally, I should lead with a question. What happened? What were you trying to say? Take, for instance, it wasn't on this morning or something. My husband was talking to, a 5-year-old. And he was like, oh, why are you, he was saying, I think he was saying he wants to go to his friend's church or something. And my husband was like, so if you make another friend tomorrow, you will go to their church or you will go to their church. Why can't you tell your friends to come to your own church? Do you see? And my husband was like, no, go and next time you see your friend, invite them to your own church. Do you see what I mean? And when the boy left, I'm like, inspirational speaker. That speech did not enter. Because why can't everybody just stay in their church? Do you understand? Now, in the spirit of playfulness and being friends and being whatnot, I just said it as it came to my head. Inspirational speaker, which is exactly what I said. Motivational speaker, that speech did not enter. Do you see? Because what I say, you are saying we are trying to tell somebody to face their church. You're not saying they should invite other people to their own church. What if other people's mother tell them that they too they should not go to anybody's church?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any business with other people's children. I only have a business with my own child. Do you see? But immediately I first was said motivational speaker. Speech here did not enter. He was like, you have come. Like, what do you mean? What did I say? Did I say anything bad? Now, in that moment, I'm like, calm down. I'm just playing with you. Remember, I'm like, what? Do you see what I mean? So, but I had to calm down first and started to listen. So when it seemed like he was defending himself, I was actually listening. So when he was saying all the, no, actually, I'm talking to my own child. Do you see? And this is my business. He just was going on and on and on and on. Now, in the past, I would have been like, no, now that's not what I'm saying. What are you? Your own is even too much. You take everything so seriously. And like, yeah. So I just started to listen to that defense as opposed to being rebellious to it. Now, as I listened, I could easily get where it was coming from. Do you see? And I could easily be like, what is the import of this conversation, really? To be honest, nothing. And instead of like fighting, allowing my ego to say, defend yourself, tell him you were joking, tell him that he needs to calm down. I just said, okay. And I got up and we started dressing for church. And life went on. Just what I'm saying. So my point is, well, if you focus on yourself, there's a lot to do. And that already even like takes away like half of the issue. Do you see? Now you may be right to say, oh, this thing that you did, I didn't like it, it hurt me. Do you see? But if you don't also know that their defense is also a natural response, you will be fighting their defense before they have a chance to lay down their defense. Do you see? People always calm down too, but you would have gotten in a battle before they have a chance to lay down.
Wow. Hey, my God. This marriage is hard work. This is a journey. This is like a total, it's like you just removed what's in our brain. Just left us to drop it and then you don't put something else in. I'm going to go back and listen to it again because in my head, right, I would have felt like, I mean, it's an easy conversation, you know, like, so what you did, I'm not really happy about it, and, you know, that really hurts me. I feel like you should just go, hey, what happened? When you now start saying, what do you mean? Automatically, I'm coming with peace, but you have brought it rough, and I'm in pain. This thing that you are bringing can cause more problems. So at that point, you are saying that I should just be looking and be listening.
Well, it's not just be looking. Like remember when he said that the work starts with before you come to the conversation. You remember when he said that the work actually starts before you come to the conversation. Where if you're committed to your partner, right, you must also be willing to know that this is not the end. This thing that they've done is not a direct attack. It's not personal.
Yeah.
You understand? That already puts your mind at risk. Just calms you down. If you already prioritize yourself, your peace, your internal peace, you would already, first of all, go to one corner. Take a deep breath. Know that, you know what? I'm not, this person is not my source. While I'm upset, I'm not happy with what they did, they're not my source. So you then take a my husband and I had in the car when we were coming from church today. He did something that I didn't like. I snapped and he was like, take it easy, we moved on. Now, I had to like calm down because that energy is not good for me. Do you see? I don't even want it in me. Do you see? So outside him coming to understand that what he did is wrong, giving him the power and the control.
What I did is wrong.
No. No. Okay, so what I mean is outside of actually like your holding on to the idea that what he did is wrong. Do you understand? That was not meant.
Wrong.
Right. Marriage. Can you like outside of like my idea of the right or wrong? You see, beyond I personally as a person, I desire peace. Do you see? And I don't think that My husband participated
Yeah.
in that conversation, acknowledging that he was apologizing to me is all I need to be well. Do you see what I mean? That the looking for is also in me, you know. So the understanding,
Amazing.
thinking to myself what he just said. Do you understand? Where I'm thinking, actually, we are different. Do you see? So while I would do that, actually there are many other days that he has done that to make me happy. Actually, this guy is not my enemy. He loves me. Do you see? So when you begin to do that, forgiveness, like he said, is easy, which is that I was able to forgive. When we got home, the person that is not fighting me, you know that I'm the one fighting myself, pulled my hand as I was walking past the bed. He then pulled me close. Do you understand? In that moment, it take us back maybe 6 years, 7 years ago. When he holds my hand, like I'll just drop my hand. Like, leave me alone. Like what? What? Leave me. Because why? I'm trying to get his attention to know that he angry. I don't need to get. If I really want to talk, I sit down straight up. Babe, I want to talk to you. Do you see? I have this to have the conversation.
Amazing.
So all that is no longer necessary. So when he pulled, I recognized that he was a lover pulling my hand, not the enemy. So I let him hold my hand. Do you see? And I well, leave me alone. What's wrong with you? But while holding my hand. Do you see the difference? And so I was saying, you know, and he was like, what happened to you? And then I said, I said to him, you are just annoying me, you know. And we talked for a few minutes, laughed, even laughed. But there was already forgiveness. There was already a lot of mind work. Where even me, I have already told myself that this thing is very subjective. This fight is subjective. It's not like, you know, can you see?
Totally love it. Totally love it. You have balanced this now. But I will stick my head again. Oh my God, look at this. I just had an amazing. No, this is the highlight. Yes, this is the highlight. Okay, let me just rush this one. And somebody said that how do you love, like the way you give love, the way you show love. For example, maybe your husband is doing great stuff for you, but maybe that's not what you want. And then, but in his head, it's like, but I'm showing you love now. What are you on out? And then vice versa. How do you communicate that this one you're doing, I know you think you're showing me love, but is it selfishness to expect to be loved the way you want to be loved? And then does it make the person, is it bad that you're expressing or you're trying to make the person feel bad that, so with everything I'm doing, she does not appreciate me and all that? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to ask here. Great. So how do you communicate that? I mean, yes, I know you are buying me a car and a house, but I think I need your time and attention. And in his mind, it's like, but I've given you everything that you want. What more do you want? But I want a lot because what you're giving me is not what I want. How do you do that? How do you communicate love the proper way in marriage, like, and ensure that you are satisfying your spouse's love bank? I think that's what.
Okay, so there is no problem in telling people how you want to be loved. There is nothing wrong with that in telling people how you want to be loved, and nobody should find an in being told how your partner wants to be loved. There is nothing wrong with that. If you go out to a restaurant to eat, they don't just offer you whatever it is. They say, this is what we have, take it, and you say, no, I have my own order. I say, no, we don't care about your order. This is what we are giving you. This is what you have to take. I mean, no one is going to accept that. So it's the same thing with love. You need to listen to your partner and love them the way they want to be loved. Now, the problem that couples often have is the place of appreciation. That's the problem that couples often have. And it's one of the things that CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, helps you to do, to be grateful for the things that you have. You have been given something. It's a gift. It's not what I want. It's not what I like. It doesn't suit me. It doesn't meet my. You have been given something. This is a giver. If a giver gives something and you probably want something else, that same person can still give you what you want if you can appreciate that person. That's
amazing.
Give you what you probably, really don't like.
Amazing.
What you like.
Amazing.
appreciate this person as a giver. So don't just concentrate on gifts that you've been given. Don't just concentrate on your own need. This is a giver. You need to be celebrated.
Yeah.
Give me this. You can give me this. Now, that person will be willing to do more, will want to impress you. So if you tell them, I like what you have given me, you've given me a car, but let me tell you one thing, let me shock you. If you give me 1 hour on Wednesday, oh, I will so much. The person will look and say, 1 hour, that's all you want, you have it. Do you get it now? That's
Amazing.
That was life is not hard.
I mean,
wow, amazing. So I appreciate what you have.
yeah. So
amazing stuff. Thank you.
So if you are complaining about it, that person will then be looking for someone else who will probably appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
You are not appreciative. You don't like me. You don't appreciate me. There's the things we don't say in marriage. They are heavier than the things that we say. Impressions in marriage, images, perception, they are heavy. They are heavier than the things being said. Heavier.
So practical example. My husband is a hugger, toucher. In fact, he would hug the life out of you. So clearly, of course, this is love language. I'm a words of affirmations girl. Talk to me, say it. So in the early days, when he's hugging me, I'm just stiff like this. Because do you see? So I'm just like, when you're done, let me complain. So when he, of course, somebody is hugging you with their heart, they are giving you something, and then you're like, they can already feel the vibe. The energy is not pure. Then they're like, okay, so they leave you alone, and then you're like, so what I would do is when he now leaves me, I'll say, okay, so what exactly are you trying to say with this hug now? Say something, and he's like, say what? What should I say? And so we go into a cycle of fighting again. Do you see? And he would never hear me because I'm complaining. You know, I'm not receiving what he's giving. Do you see what I mean? And so in the process of defending himself, defending myself, our marriage loses every single time. So what we started to do was, you have to take whatever you're being given first before asking for more. Do you understand? So if he hugs me, instead of being stiff, I allow myself to be hugged. I hug him back. Do you understand? And because I want to hear words of affirmation, right? So instead or just waiting there, waiting for him to say it when he doesn't want to see anything, because he's not like a big, talker. He doesn't really like stress. You see? And I'm waiting, and he's like, what? And I'm like, what is what exactly is what? What do you mean what? No? So instead of that, I would then say, so maybe let's say I've done something really nice for him, right? And he's now hugging me when I want to hear thank you. Do you see? When he's hugged me, I will hug him back. We'll hug each other. Do you see? When he's done, I can take his hand, put it on my head. Do you see? Or I can take his face and I say, thank you, BC. I see myself. And he's like, now, yes, now. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Amazing.
And then I'll say, I know. When he says, oh, that's what I'm saying now. Thank you now. Yes, of course. That's what I'm saying. I will now say, I know that's exactly what you're saying. Do you see? So I'm against him that he's not saying thank you. Sometimes, I would say, so when he's sorry, maybe sometimes he's genuinely sorry about something, and he's holding me like a puppy. Do you understand? And I'm like, guy, just open your mouth. I don't take it personal, like he's not saying so. When I take that apology pose or posture or apology language, I understand it for what, and then I help the person love me in the way that I want to be loved. So while he's holding me, I take that posture, I put his hand on my head, and I say sorry, BC, I'm sorry. And he's like, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Sometimes I will even joke. I say, you see, what just happened? Have you died? Did the world end? We start laughing. Do you see? And then talk about it. So receive whatever it is that you are getting first. Then ask first, because the person has the capacity to give you more. They probably don't know it, or they're not used to it. Do you see? And with you who knows your love language so much, it's not enough to know it. It's much more important to know why others cannot give you. What is it about them that doesn't allow them to be able to do this? In my case, my husband doesn't really talk much, to be honest with you. Even with people outside, he would rather just walk away. Unless he's like at an extreme emotion. Do you understand? But if he's like really playing it cool, he will, even if you want to say thank you to him, he doesn't want. You want to say I'm sorry to him, he's like, don't worry, it's all good. We're good. So of course, that kind of person will not, he doesn't really see it. He will explain it away like, it's love now. Why can't you just move on? Let it go now. Must we always say thank you? Must we always, because in their head, always saying thank you is like, why are you thanking me? My husband will fight you if you say your children are saying thank you after eating. He's one of those people that will say, it's my responsibility to feed you. Do you understand? So if you put all of these things together, you can really trace the line and see why they're the way. Instead of that way, you guys can work together and get to where you're going.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I wish I could keep you here for the next like 12 hours. But alas, we have to let you go. But you won't go without telling us more about what you do. Somebody asked me that, do you focus on just married couples? Do you do stuff with singles? And what's your, and then, you know, some couples don't believe, honestly, some couples don't believe in marriage counseling, right? What do you have to say about that? And do you, because some people just feel like, I'm a very private person. I don't want anybody to, you know, some people have that mentality of privacy. It's just whatever it is, it's in my home. I'm very private people. You know, nothing, we must not go and send things outside. Do you think marriage can be done alone? And then, you know, all those kind of stuff. Can people really go through that journey as just two of them, with God, of course, alone? So just tell us about what you do and what you do for singles, if you do anything for singles. I mean, do you do the same thing? Just let us know a bit about what you do. And those couples that don't believe in counseling, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so I speak to both married and single. So like we were saying the other time about somebody who's like, you're finding somebody, you're fancying a person, you know, you can always have a counseling session for that.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's not until you're in a relationship, you are liking somebody. Sometimes that can help you to unlike them. Or that session to really, really like them more. Do you see? So singles, good to go. Married, good to go. Engaged, dating. You guys are even just dating. You're not even yet engaged. Do you see? But you are having like communication or problems here and there. You know, we do all of that stuff as well. So you can have us individually. So you can either speak to me or speak to my husband. And then you can request to speak with the both of us. Do you understand? So different for that, different prices for having that. You know, as to the question, can you do your marriage? Give it a try. Like, they're not a type person. No, I will first of all answer. Most people are afraid of marriage counseling because of judgment. Do you understand?
Yeah.
They judge me. They like, you know, I don't know. They don't know me. So what if, and most people, when you come to session, you're always afraid like, my partner was already upset with me. That one paint me like a terrible person. And these people who don't know me think that this is who I am. So nobody really wants me. What I can say is for us, there's no fear. You can already see from our relationship that we've been there, done that, and we're still there. Like, it's a work in progress. Do you see? So no judgment, no fear, and it's very confidential. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you can maybe even see from the session, you can already see that it's like a safe place to talk. But if you now like want to do your marriage alone, give it a try now. Like, you will learn. Should be us. We told you now that we didn't have like much help, and we are here. Do you see? But it's a risk. What if you're not here? Do you understand? What if you don't? Is it not better to work with people who have like been there, so you minimize your suffering and your like misery? Do you see what I mean? So we would give everything to have had like maybe people ahead of us, like come from families where, you know, we can share with see examples, like, or see mentors online that we can connect with, or even messages that we can listen to. We did not really have all that. We were just in our own world. Do you see? But we made it. And a big part of how we made it is also because of a big part of who we are. Do you understand? So God is trying to reach many people, but he's not going to reach everybody. Do you understand what I mean? So God, we all have access to God. The Holy Spirit talks to us. We all have the Holy Spirit inside of us. He talks to us, but it's not everybody that is going to listen to him. We are not vulnerable to him the same way. So our result would vary. Just what I mean. God is working around the clock to see that your relationship will succeed. But you also have to cooperate with him. You have to like sort of lean into that experience and want it. Want it so much that he can lead you to the right people. He can also lead you to people. He can guide you through wisdom. You know. So I would say give counseling a try. 100%. I put my back there. But if you say why not give it a try? If you so let's see.
You can keep getting a lot of self-help materials. I mean, you follow us, follow other people, you read books, you put things into practice. I mean, there are people who do homeschooling and their children are successful. So, I mean, there's not a problem to say you want to do it or you can't do it alone or something. But it's not a problem as well if you decide to seek help, if you decide to seek mentor.
I agree. I mean, I feel it's okay.
I mean,
It's very vital.
not a problem as well. The most important thing, just do the best. But the truth of the matter is that marriage exists on is every one of us that is entering into it, right? And marriage will continue if while we are right here. Okay? So I mean, so while you're doing it, just make sure that you come in and you put in your best to it. And there is no shame at all. If you decide to do it, if you want to do it alone, that's good. And as a single, you can even book a session for self-discovery. I mean, you want to know yourself. You're not even talking about relationship now. Who am I? How I think. This before I go out there and start meeting people, before I start dating, break. You can see the cycle. You look at your pattern of relationship and like, I don't like this happening in my relationship. I've been facing this trend. Man, take a break, go for counseling. It's like a retreat. Pull yourself back. Stop. You're just going up the line. You want to go into marriage like that. It might be dangerous. You can take a break, go for counseling to be a form of retreat for you, kind of reprogramming. Before marriage will reset you. Set yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Guys, I mean, I know that you people have been blessed because me have been super transformed tonight. Gosh, thank you so much. Somebody said it's the first premarital counseling enough for the entire marriage. I don't know what they will answer the question.
Of the marriage, we won't tell you, but it's not enough. Ideally, counseling
is not enough.
Counseling is. I mean, let's even say coaching. Coaching doesn't end. You need it at different points of your life, and your marriage will be in seasons, right? Different seasons.
Yeah.
The first premarital sort of to give you like a baseline, like an understanding of the process, that you're not too shocked or too afraid or too like confused. But at the end of the day, it's practical. You still have to remember all that you were taught or you were like and some ways you still have to prioritize getting counseling or seeking like some form of coaching or just really getting in touch with your mentor or with your counselor every while to check in, like some sort of medical checkup.
Is that old mentality of doing premarital counseling as a criteria for the church to marry you, to get you wedded, so everybody they let us do it and that should be fine. But just like she said, it's safer when you have a relationship. Like, I have a relationship. Who have financial coaches, who have relationship coach. I mean, having a coach makes sense. I mean, I think it should be trendy. It should be trendy.
I'm gonna come. I will come and DM you some things. We need to. There's going to be another. So when I chat to you, I'll just make some basic inquiries because I think that this is really good, guys. I know that you have learned. Please, if you're not following Secretplace Husband and Wife, just first follow them now. Number 2, I think that they are very fantastic relationship and marriage people. And it's not just because they're here. I've been following you for a very long time, and I know that, I mean, what you dish out, they are very real people, very objective. very vulnerable. I mean, aside his wife, if you see the wife, the thing she shares this morning, she will tell you, this morning, I don't know, give me this. And she will ask, and you're like, are you serious? You're really saying all this? And it's just so that, we can learn, I mean, it's just really amazing. You guys need to follow them. You guys need to book sessions. If you're about to get married, if you are married and you're still married, just book a session. Thank you so much, Sam. I genuinely appreciate your time, the value. In fact, we have a question, but there's no way in the world I can ask all these questions. I already said it from the beginning. I'm sorry if I did not ask your question, but I mean, I'm sure that you have learned a lot for what has been shared already. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I know that a lot of people reaching out to you, and I can only pray that God will continue to bless the work of your hands. God will continue to give you wisdom for this assignment that He has given you. I mean, your voice will always be noised abroad everywhere that you go. The wisdom of God will continue to guide you as you provide counsel to people. You will not make errors, you will not make mistakes, and your marriage will be preserved by God, flourishing, continually be a model for people to learn from in the name of Jesus. Thank you. Thank you so very much for our invitation. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Whoosh!
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining this month's session. And I know that you have been blessed. I know that you had a great time. So if I talk, we do this every month. We come every month. We bring in people, experts on different topics. You can go back and check. We talk about everything and anything. We talk about different life issues, whatever thing cut across different sectors of life. All we're trying to do is to ensure that we are all learning, we are all being transformed, we're all being inspired, things are changing for better for all of us. So I want to thank you. If you're not following TED Talks, you really will be following me, because next month again, by God's grace, we will be bringing in another person that will be talking to us about something very interesting and pivotal. That's what amazing. This month was glorious, lovely, awesome. I had such a great time. I wish they didn't have to leave, but I'm not so big with questions. I wish I could ask everything, but alas, thank you so much. This is your first time. You're welcome. Thank you so much. And then come on. So just follow. I definitely say that I always say my videos. I say it here on my YouTube page. That's the link is in my bio, so you can check past messages. We've done a lot of things on marriage, a lot of things on marriage. I've had people come talk about marriage, talk about sex marriage, talk about finance marriage, talk about parenting, and all that. You can just check it and then just learn as much as you can. All right. So if you're not following that, please follow it. And then next month we'll be back again to talk about something very interesting. I really cannot wait for next month. But till then, I'm saying thank you for joining, thank you for engaging, thank you for listening, thank you for enjoying the session. I'll come again next month. That is April. Oh my God, in April we're going to be two. April is such an important month. Yeah. Oh my God, guys, we've come a long way. 2 years next month, what are we going to do here? It's something special. God has been good. 2 years. Hi, I can't wait for April. April is amazing, and I'm so excited about that. Last year when we won, we did a good stuff. We shared stuff to people, we blessed people. That is that. I'll begin to process what we'll do in April. Right. Bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for your support. To the club, and I appreciate and celebrate you all. I see you later. And that's great. Good night, everybody. Bye. Let's not pray for work tomorrow. All right. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to go back and do things. Even again. So many great stuff that we learned today. I see you from my birthday. Bye. Bye. And those who are just joining, welcome. Welcome for bye-bye because we are done. All right, but you can just go back and check the replay. It was such an amazing time to look yourself on a while. Go back and check it. I know you will. All people are just joining and celebrate their welcome to and I say bye. But just check back again. I know that you will have a good time and you will. Bye.